I'm gonna be making a cutting board today for the first time. Picked up this wood at a local wood store. I just left the neighbor's house. He's got a joiner, so I could fit these together and there wouldn't be like a gap at all. So these are all jointed now. I'm gonna do I want to say a checkerboard, cutting board, but my plans changed so much, I don't know yet. So we'll see what happens. I might just do, this is the hard maple and walnut. I might just leave them side by side instead of doing the checkerboard. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we are making a cutting board, that's for sure. So we still have to get these cut down to size now that they're jointed, and then we'll have to get them all completely smooth and then glued up. Well, there's a few steps in between. You know, you'll see. Alright, so after we got all these cut, I just wipe them down with acetone just to get rid of any residue that's on them to make sure that the glue sticks. And I'll be using Titebond 3 because it's waterproof, and obviously if you have a cutting board you're going to end up washing it at some point, at least I hope so. So we're going to get these glued up. They're on their sides right now. Put all the glue on here, we'll flip them over, slap them together, tighten them with some clamps, and leave them for about 12 to 24 hours. I'm probably not going to touch this again until tomorrow. So I'll glue this up and let it sit until tomorrow. Because this was my first cutting board, I realized that I need bigger clamps. All the clamps I have, the biggest ones that I have, I only had about 1/4 of an inch clearance in there. So I definitely need to invest in some pipe clamps so that whenever I do cutting boards this size or bigger, I'll be able to actually clamp them down. Because if I had another piece of wood in there, these are about 1 inch thick, it definitely wouldn't have fit at all. I wouldn't have been able to clamp it up. Alright, I got this side planed down on the cutting board. Got a few little spots right here, but I'll end up cutting those out like this. Anyway, we need to get this side ran through the planer so it's all flush and even like this side. So let's do it. After getting everything ran through the planer, we need to cut these into a desired thickness that I'll be able to flip these over to get the checkerboard effect. So I had to make maybe like 8 or 9 different cuts to get it to look like this. Now my other issue is, as you can see, there's walnut on the very top and bottom. That shouldn't have been there. I should have ended with a oak piece, or is this hickory? I already forgot. But I should have ended with one of those instead of having the walnut on, you know, finishing the top and the bottom, if that makes sense. So I ended up having to cut one full section out of this one just to make the checkerboard effect, because when you flipped it over it just looked exactly the same as it did before. So I guess that's a note to myself to remember for the next time. The boards have to be opposite, so this will work. So there's a few things that I messed up on that I ended up having to cut off to fix it. So this cutting board was, I'd say, probably a few inches shorter on each side than I really wanted it to be. It's supposed to be like a large cutting board. Kind of ended up being a little small, but for the first one, I can't complain. I appreciate you guys watching me fumble through my first cutting board. I hope you consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next video.